state-owned defense entity Denel has been ordered to pay its staff outstanding salaries. This comes after trade union Numsa took the state-owned enterprise to court. Workers are owed hundreds of millions of rand. Let's get to Numsa's reaction now from its spokesperson, Phakamile Hlubi-Majola. Phakamile, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. Firstly, can you just share with us the key highlights or the key pillars of the court's order? What has the court actually ordered?
Good afternoon, Bradan, and good afternoon to your viewers. Thank you for having me on your show. We went to the North Gauteng High Court on an urgent basis following after we had issued a letter of demand in June of this year to Denel. In that letter of demand, we were demanding that Denel honor its obligation to pay workers their salaries. Workers at Denel in all of its divisions, to varying degrees, have not received full pay since May 2020. And so we went to the North Gauteng High Court on an urgent basis to request that the court must grant us an order compelling Denel to pay all outstanding money on the basis that their failure to do so is a breach of contract. Thankfully, the North Gauteng High Court agreed with us and handed down this order which compels Denel to pay workers all outstanding money. This includes even contributions towards Provident Fund, UIF, etc., medical aid, and it must do so within 10 days.
So you represent about 800 staff members. So within the next 10 days, you would expect them to be paid as ordered by the court?
Absolutely. We believe that Denel must make a plan with regards to how or where it finds the money to do this. It's quite shameful that some members of the executive management of Denel Corporate, have on the whole been receiving their salaries in full, whilst workers who are earning far less than they are have actually not received their salaries. And Bradan, I don't have to tell you the kind of stress, the kind of anxiety, the kind of suffering that workers of Denel have gone through. There were media reports, for example, that spoke about a person who allegedly committed suicide as a result of just how stressful this period has been. We expect Denel to honor this order and to do so within 10 days.
Did you say that the executive senior management team were being paid during this period?
Yes, they have been paid. They actually sent us a confirmation. There's a schedule of payments where they confirm what the salaries have been for various divisions. And on the whole, with the exception, I think, for the month of April and May, where some of them earned about 50% of their salaries, they've been actually earning 100% of their salaries, whilst workers have had to live on either 50% or less, or in some cases nothing at all, if the various divisions in which they work don't produce enough revenue.
In this communication, sorry, Phakamile, in this communication that you have that has sort of confirmed what you've just said, what were the reasons given? I'm asking this against this context, please. I'm not fully aware what every company has done, but I know that last year when the pandemic started, there were some companies, private companies, CEOs, who took a cut in their salaries or contributed up to 30% of their salaries towards the pandemic or towards supporting efforts about the pandemic, and some of them took a cut for a period. But with Denel, it doesn't seem to have been the case.
It's so shocking, Bradan, how in their minds they've managed to justify this unacceptable behavior, whilst at the same time actively encouraging workers to continue to come to work, to continue to deliver on performance, to give their all every day without any sort of guarantee as to when they'll actually be paid their salaries. So how Denel has been working at the moment is that the salaries are being generated based on the performance of the various divisions. So if your division, for example, does well in that month, and there's enough money to pay salaries, then workers will get all their money. If that division doesn't do well, then unfortunately workers will not get paid. So that's why some workers, as I said to you, have been receiving 20% or 50%. It all depends on the performance of the division.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then the head of that division, the executive, should also not be paid. Okay, it's going to be interesting how then Denel is going to respond to the court order. So you've explained it to us. Thank you very much, Phakamile. What will be next now for you as a trade union? You've won. You've got a ruling, a court ruling in your favor. What would you do next as a trade union?
Indeed, you're correct when you say that the heads of divisions should not be paid, and this is an issue we want them to account for.
Yeah, well, it's a logical thing. Yeah, it's a logical thing. Sorry, Phakamile, because if you are remunerating according to performance and the division has not performed, you must hold the divisional head accountable as well. So you should also, or she should also not be paid. Just a logic of it. It would be interesting how Denel would explain this one. Okay, so what will be next? Sorry, I cut in there, Phakamile. What will be next for trade union?
No, that's all right. What's next, Bradan, is that we will be communicating with the executive management of Denel. Today, they actually issued a communique. I'm sure you're aware that the budget speech, the mini budget, which was tabled on Thursday, allocated about 2.9 billion to Denel. That money, we've been told today, will only be used to service debt and the interest on the debt, and is not to be used to pay salaries. So given what we know about the fact that Denel corporate and its executives are earning full salaries, we expect that at that level, they will make a plan about paying workers what is owed to them. We have a court order. They must enforce the court order, and we expect them to do so.
If they appeal the court order?
Well, they admitted in court that they conceded to the fact that they are in breach.
Okay.
So, I mean, on what basis would they appeal?
Yeah, if they have admitted in court, it's going to be interesting to see how you got 2.9 billion rand extra you're going to use for debt, but you've got workers who are owed millions and millions, while your executives and senior managers have been paid even when a division didn't perform. That's very, very odd. Thank you very much. Trade Union Numsa there, Trade Union Numsa spokesperson, Phakamile Hlubi-Majola. I find it odd. I mean, I'm not a finance person or whatever, but if you are rewarding your employees according to performance of the division, and the division doesn't perform, you don't pay the workers, but you pay yourself as the head of the division. It's very odd. It shouldn't be. You should take accountability for the failure of the whole division to play. You should also, as the head of that division, not be paid a cent.